On this edition of NTV, more drama escalated last month in the fight to save closing schools. Boy, this winter was cold. Find out what residents had to say about last winter's Arctic blast. And cake shaped like perfume bottles. We'll introduce you to a special lady who makes these tasty treats right from home. So keep watching because NTV starts right now.
Welcome to another exciting episode of NTV, the program that provides you with news and information on what's going on in your own backyard. I'm your host, Nicole Ashley. On our last episode of NTV, we gave you an extended look at the school closing situation and how this will affect your children. Well, we'd like to conclude that episode with a final policy discussion meeting that was held at Brooklyn Tech last month.
Students and parents of Kennedy High School, Jamaica High School, and many other public high schools throughout the 5 boroughs blew whistles as well as recited chants to prevent the DOE from closing their schools. School Chancellor Kathy Black, who was also in attendance, was accompanied by several politicians and elected officials. They had a lot to say about the 12 schools that the DOE planned to shut down.
Jamaica High School isn't performing, but meanwhile you have 3 specialized high schools in the building. I took a tour of those. It's interesting. Their lowest class size is 14. They have smart boards, they have computers. Go to the regular school, the class size is 34.
The reality is that you knew that 571 and all of these schools were going to fail way back when, and you did nothing.
But you're going to kowtow to the mayor to keep your seat. Ms. Black, Sophie's choice is not a choice. All of these children should be saved. It's your job to try to make that happen, and you're not even trying.
The majority of students and parents that showed up were low-income minorities. The Urban Youth Collaborative, who believes that closing struggling schools will not be the solution to creating more equitable and effective institutions, received recognition.
The Urban Youth Collaborative.
Many speakers challenged how much time the DOE actually put into reforming public schools.
Hundreds of thousands of students are not performing at grade level in reading and in math. The high school graduation rate in many schools is less than 50%. But now that you're here, I wanted you to succeed because if you were successful, our children would be successful. But we're off to a terrible start. You're breaking my heart. We have a difficult situation that we're confronting here because you have an opportunity to turn around failed policies.
I stand before you today to urge you and I ask you to stop and listen. True listening means being responsive. Are you listening? Have you truly given yourself the opportunity to analyze whether or not closing the school is the best course of action in helping our students? when the Department of Education decides to close the school, the message is clear. This school can't be fixed, can't be helped, and there's no other option but to close it.
Councilman Charles Barron presented to the DOE a 2-year plan that teachers from PS 260 created. He also gave students from PS 114 great news by announcing that their school was off the list of school closings.
Whatever you're going to do for other schools, smaller class sizes, computers, smart boards, cultural relevant curriculum, a consistent curriculum, making sure we have an athletics program, a sports program, instead of turning our schools into test-taker buildings. After this, we should do what Tony Abella said. Let's go to every one of our schools, and if we have thousands of people there saying, we will not let you shut our school down. We're going to demand that our schools stay open because the schools belong to the people. They don't belong to you.
Michael Mulgrew, the successor to the teachers union president, Randy Weingarten, claimed that the DOE did not follow proper procedures in their mission to close down schools.
There cannot be a legitimate process for anything unless there is a plan for schools to succeed first. The Department of Education does not even have a Department of Teaching and Learning, so I do not know how you can help any school to succeed. Every school, no matter what they are performing, should be getting support from the Department of Education. If you cannot do that, then we do not need a Department of Education. It is not. If you want to be the Department of Data, the Department of Legal Counsel, the Department of Accountability, you don't need to handle schools. Anybody else, go to private business, that's where you should be.
One of the speakers even mentioned how disorganized the DOE was at one of the school closing meetings held at Kennedy High School's campus. The meeting that day took place at 6:30 p.m. on a Friday night. She signaled that this was a major disrespect towards parents, teachers, and students. She also claimed that this attitude must change.
Although the DOE did, at the Senator's request, send representatives to a recent Parents Association meeting, the last week of hearings, including a joint hearing at the school on a Friday evening with no notice, despite the Senator's repeated requests for same, and Tuesday's 7-hour marathon, demonstrate that these hearings come too late to ensure meaningful public participation in the planning process. It's no secret that JFK has consistently underperformed in recent years. Following a recent reorganization, many of the district's best students went to one of several smaller schools within the building, while the neediest students continued to enroll at JFK without the additional resources they needed to thrive. While graduation rates improved, this result was not uniform. As Deputy Chancellor Mark Sternberg stated at last week's public hearing, you can and must do better.
The 13 members of the school panel still remains at the meeting, even after SOS supporters marched out of the auditorium. After a majority of the people exited the building, most of the students remained resiliently in front of Brooklyn Tech until police cleared the area. As a final decision, the DOE approved the closure of 12 high schools. These schools included PS 260, Columbus High School, Kennedy High School, Jamaica High School, and Norman Thomas High School in Manhattan. This has been your NTV News Brief.